Before I toss it back to the studios for India Upfront with Meghna Deka, let's hear one chopai from Acharya ji. Acharya ji, हो जाए.
बिल्कुल ये गोस्वामी जी द्वारा रचित जो है एक चौपाई है कि राम भरोसे राम बल, राम नाम विश्वास. तो जिसने भगवान राम पर विश्वास किया है हर तरीके से, उसका कभी जिंदगी में कोई भी अनहित नहीं हो सकता. और इस समय राम मंदिर का निर्माण हो रहा है. इस पावन धरती से मैं एक ही चीज कहूंगा कि जय जय श्री राम.
All right, with the chants of Jai Shri Ram, it's back to the studios for India Upfront. Meghna, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Pranesh. The Aastha Parv really sets up the stage for India Upfront. You're watching it with me, Meghna Deka. So, can the future of India truly shine unless we take pride in our past? Till we learn to accept the greatness of our history, can we leave behind a legacy that we are proud of? After all, can and should we be shackled with colonial baggage which stops us from taking pride in the very essence of India? Many call Hinduism a religion. It's not. It is a way of life for those living in Hindustan. Then why do we shy away from taking pride in its spirituality? Today from Kedarnath, a spiritual hub of the Char Dham Yatra, the Prime Minister has called out the Hindu Hinta mindset, where Hindus have been brainwashed to think that our culture, our heritage is inferior. The Prime Minister contends that this Hindu Hinta is part of our colonial package, where foreign invaders subjugated not just the people of India, but also crushed our pride in our legacy. Have Indians knowingly or perhaps even unknowingly shamed our own Sanskriti? Listen in to the Prime Minister.
लंबे समय तक हमारे यहां अपने आस्था स्थलों के विकास को लेकर एक नफरत का भाव रहा. विदेशों में वहां की संस्कृति से जुड़े स्थानों की ये लोग तारीफ करते करते नहीं थकते, लेकिन भारत में इस प्रकार के काम को हेय दृष्टि से देखा जाता था. इसकी वजह एक ही थी, अपनी संस्कृति को लेकर हीन भावना, अपने आस्था स्थलों पर अविश्वास, अपनी विरासत से विद्वेष. देश की आजादी के 75 साल पूरे होने पर मैंने लाल किले से एक आह्वान किया है. ये आह्वान है गुलामी की मानसिकता से पूरी तरह मुक्ति का. क्या जरूरत पड़ी ये कहने की? ऐसा इसलिए क्योंकि हमारे देश को गुलामी की मानसिकता ने ऐसा जकड़ा हुआ है कि प्रगति का हर कार्य कुछ लोगों को अपराध की तरह लगता है. गुलामी की ऐसी मानसिकता ने हमारे पूजनीय पवित्र आस्था स्थलों को जर्जर स्थिति में ला दिया था. सैकड़ों वर्षों से मौसम की मार सहते आ रहे पत्थर, मंदिर स्थल, पूजा स्थल के जाने के मार्ग, वहां पर पानी की व्यवस्था हो तो उसकी तबाही, सब कुछ तबाह होकर के रख दिया गया था. जिसके प्रति कोटि कोटि लोगों की श्रद्धा हो, हजारों साल से श्रद्धा हो, जीवन का एक सपना हो कि उस धाम में जाकर के मत्था टेक के आएंगे, लेकिन सरकारें ऐसी रही कि अपने ही नागरिकों को वहां तक जाने की सुविधा करने का उनको जरूरी नहीं लगा.
And it's not just empty words, but the Prime Minister, since 2014, since he came to power, has followed what he has preached for Hindu revivalism. Sample this. Prime Minister inaugurated the connectivity projects worth 3,400 crore rupees in the Mana village of Chamoli district of Uttarakhand today. He's also laid the foundation stone of 2 ropeway projects and road widening projects worth around 1,000 crore rupees. From Kashi to Sri Mahakal, under Prime Minister Modi, there has been renovation of Hindu shrines across the entire country. Recently in Ujjain, the Prime Minister, remember, had inaugurated the first phase of 900-meter Mahakal corridor project, which was worth over 800 crore rupees. Last year, Prime Minister Modi had inaugurated revamped Kashi Vishwanath Dham, unveiled Adi Shankaracharya statue at Kedarnath and inaugurated reconstructed precincts of the old Somnath temple in Gujarat. A year earlier, he had also laid the foundation stone of Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. In fact, Prime Minister Modi is not the first to speak about taking pride in Hinduism and its symbols and the urgent need to revive what has been our legacy. In fact, way back in 1916, when Mahatma Gandhi himself has said, and I'm going to quote him here, "I visited the Vishwanath temple last evening and these thoughts touched me. If a stranger dropped from above onto this great temple, he had to consider what we as Hindus were. Would we not be justified in condemning us? Is it right that the lanes of our sacred temple should be as dirty as they are? Shall our temples be abodes of holiness, cleanliness and peace as soon as the English have retired from India, bag and baggage?" It's been 75 years since the British have left, bag and baggage. What have we done to realize the dream of Mahatma Gandhi? But have we as Indians followed this path that Gandhiji had showed after the British bundled out? Sadly, the answer seems to be no. Watch how rulers over the past 67 years after our independence shackle the rich Hindu legacy. Let's talk about first the Indian antiques. Since 2014, the government has retrieved 24 Indian antiques. Look at that and contrast it between 2009 and 2014. Just one such object of Indian antiquity was brought back by the government. Now let's look at the Mahakal corridor in Ujjain, one of the most famous Jyotirlingams. The Shipra river flows near the religious structures. Neglect led to heavy silting in these river banks. The area is now completely being revamped, but that process has just begun under the Modi government, not in the 67 years before that. Let's look at the Kashi Vishwanath corridor. The chief architect there had revealed that there was no sewage line as well. The sewage line has now been added to maintain the surroundings as well. It's not just about reviving the temples, reviving Hinduism, but also how we are helping them contribute to tourism as well. Now let's look at Ayodhya. It has fared miserably in comparison to the holy cities. We all know that the holy city had barely grown in the last 2 decades, but now at least these steps are being taken to bring back some of this pride that perhaps Indians have forgotten along the way. So let me go across to our panelists. Throw this open today. Joining us today, Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Dushyant Sridhar is joining us, a Vedic scholar. Tushar Gupta, Senior Editor of the Swarajya, is here on our show. Vivek Srivastav, a political analyst. K. Chaudhary, Leader of the Congress Party. Anirban Banerjee, a political analyst. My first question will go across to you, Mr. Chaudhary. Do you think ये Hindu हीनता अभी भी चल रही है? Are we still as Indians failing to take pride, at least till the last of 2014 onwards, when we've talked about Hindu revivalism, how we should take pride in our legacy? Have the past rulers failed us and the religion?
Well, good evening, Meghna. The basic point that you are trying to project out here is that Hinduism took birth from 2014. We are all proud of our legacy and we are all proud of our heritage and culture. There is no doubt about it. The Prime Minister Modi is visiting various temples across India, bringing in development projects in the name of renovating the temples and the Hindu, the shrines and the areas surrounding it. That's a good thing. The cities are getting developed on this. But you must remember that Hinduism is a religion of inclusion and compassion. And it's good that he is discovering Hinduism, rather I can put it across like that way. But then, you know, when he says that you must go vocal about reviving Hinduism or taking pride in Hinduism, then why is he so silent when he has let loose certain Nafrati Chintus in the country? Why is he silent when there is a hatred, talk of hatred? Does Hinduism permit talking
Mr.
about
Chaudhary,
hatred in the country? when such a venomous atmosphere is there since 2014, why is the PM Modi
Mr.
not
Chaudhary,
addressing
let
those
me just
questions?
circle back
When
to the
you are a
first
stout
statement that you
follower
had
of
made, that we are
Hinduism,
trying to project that Hindu revivalism has only begun now. If you feel that statement is incorrect, if Hindu revivalism had begun way
that's
back
what you
after
are projecting
independence,
in your
can you tell me
paragraph that you
how
said,
under the Congress
that from
party or any other
2014
coalition government,
No, you
how
are
Hindus
eulogizing
were
Narendra
told that you can
Modi
take pride in our religion? If you can just quote some examples. I quoted examples, I'd request you to do the same.
Meghna, you must know I am from Assam and I am proud of my Assamese heritage. There is no doubt about it. Living in Bengal, being a Bengali, this is my cultural heritage and I am proud of it. Each Indian feels proud of his heritage, of his cultural heritage. What you are doing out here is you are reviving a a false notion. No, you are bringing in a false notion that the Hinduism was in danger prior to 2014, and after 2014 Hinduism is getting revived only because of Narendra Modi.
Gandhi. He talked about it even in 2019. So
you are representing 135.
Let me go across to Mr. Dushyant Sridhar.
Billion people you are representing.
May I?
Oh, sir, you've completely twisted my words. Mr. Dushyant Sridhar. And let me go across to a Vedic scholar, because he has not just helped revive what has happened today to our forgotten past, but also someone who's really spent hours and decades understanding what this Hinduism is really all about. So, Mr. Dushyant Sridhar, do you think along the way we've forgotten how to take pride in our own religion, in our own Hinduism, which of course we have seen Hindustan being rooted in?
Namaskaram Meghna, namaskaram to all my fellow panelists, and wishing you all a very advanced happy Deepawali. As to your question, Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism, the way we know it today, has been a timeless religion. It has been an assimilation of various cultures, various theologies and philosophies under one umbrella. So it's a timeless religion. Of course, how beings have ups and downs, even Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism would have had its own lows. And from a perspective of being a primitive mortal and an ordinary citizen, I feel that after 2014, I do see that there is a lot of awareness that is created about this timeless civilization and religion, and the initiatives that have been taken towards various temple corridors across the country is very laudable. So very quick, a frequent doubt that is being peddled by many of the people who are in participation, let's say here, the Honorable Prime Minister, have there been instances in the past where they have
a bit of a problem there. We'll try and get your audio fixed, Mr. Sridhar, and we'll have to request you to stay with us. We're going to reconnect with you. Sanju Verma wanted to come in. Sanju Verma, is it enough to say we are Janyodharis? Is it enough to go to a Hindu temple when required ahead of the polls, when you've not really contributed, in essence, to trying to really revive it?
You know, Meghna, I think your introduction summed up a lot of pertinent points. For the benefit of your audience, let me just say this. You know, everybody who says that Sanatan Dharma's revival has nothing to do with the last 8 years of Prime Minister Narendra Modi being in power, I think they are kidding themselves. Let's not forget, when was the Kashi Vishwanath corridor, renovated and launched? It was in December 2021. When was a 30 crore circuit house opened next to Somnath temple? That had been the demand for pilgrims for decades together. It was done in January 2022. When was that magnificent statue of Sant Ramanujacharya in Hyderabad inaugurated? It was in February 2022. When did Prime Minister celebrate 400 years of completion of Guru Tegh Bahadur's Jayanti from the ramparts of the Red Fort, denouncing a marauder like Aurangzeb? It happened in April 2022. And now, in October 2022, you had the Mahakal corridor being launched with great fanfare. So to say that the Prime Minister has done nothing and things were as they were prior to 2014 is a whole lot of hogwash. In fact, let me tell you what happened prior to 2014. It is not lost on anyone, Meghna, who has an iota of common sense and follows Indian politics. It was in 2006, 2007, and in 2008, repeated petitions filed by the Congress in the Supreme Court, not only challenging the very existence of Prabhu Ram, but also saying Ram Setu to kabhi tha hi nahi. Have we forgotten prior to Lok Sabha elections of 2019, when Kapil Sibal was a bona fide member of the Congress, he said, let us not have a decision on Ram Janmabhoomi prior to the elections because it will affect the psyche of the population and affect the poll outcome. So the Congress has been anti-Hindu, and who can forget? I remember one statement by Shashi Tharoor, who's been in the news recently. Prior to the results of Lok Sabha 2019 being announced, he said if Narendra Modi comes back to power again, it will be the revival of Hindu Taliban. Who coined the term saffron terror? It was the likes of Congressman Sushil Kumar Shinde, who said ye RSS ki sazish hai, ye Bhagwa terror hai. After 26/11, it was the likes of Digvijay Singh. Let's be very clear.
Important points that you've raised.
Anti-Hindu. The Congress has been Hindu-phobic.
Important points that you have raised. So let me take that across to Vivek Srivastav. Is that what has happened? Years and years when you hammer in things like saffron terror, when you are being told that that there is something called Hindu terror. There is that entire build-up which has happened, and perhaps that is coming from the political classes in the past as well, that Hindus are not worth it. Is Hindu Hinta, as the Prime Minister has called it, Hindu Hinta, a myth or a reality, Vivek Srivastav?
You see, first of all, you have to understand that what Hinduism or what Hindu religion or Sanatan religion, as they were talking of, what is it about? Is it for spiritual enlightenment, or is it supposed to be for event management? You need to be very clear. Here it's so much of events happening. I mean, you become a greater Hindu if you pray in a temple that is in 20 acres. You become an even greater Hindu if you pray in a temple which is spread across 100 acres. So, I mean, all these issues that they are talking of, it is not contributing to your heritage and the Hindu religion in any way. Number one. Number two, Nehru was very clear when he said that dams are the temples of the modern India. He made the IITs, he talked of ISRO, he talked of DRDO, he talked of, so many things, and that is what the real India should be. The Prime Minister doesn't talk of employment, unemployment, doesn't talk of cheaper education. You are in the film city right now. Go to any good management college of Noida and see the peace.
Number three. And I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Mr.
Yes,
Chaudhary.
absolutely
Tell
not.
us how in the past there have been examples of where Hinduism has been revived.
Yes. Why do you want to revive Hinduism when it is already prevalent? 85% of the majority of this country is Hindu. Everybody prays in their house. Everybody meditates. There are ashrams. There are gurukuls. We don't need the state. And the government is confused. The Prime Minister is confused. Because in Uttarakhand and in Karnataka, they are passing bills where they say the government need not interfere in temples at all.
Hinduism
No. Let me complete this bill point.
There is no need to revive it. Sanju Verma, quick.
Meghna.
No, I'll tell you. Absolutely. It was anyway there.
One point.
May I quickly
One point.
Okay,
Meghna, 1 second.
Vivek,
Meghna, 1 second.
Okay.
Meghna, 1 second. No, 1 second, Meghna.
Okay. One by one.
May I just finish?
No, one point. I'm sorry, Miss Sanju.
Okay, fine.
I'm sorry, just 1 second.
Tushar Gupta has an urgent point to make, so...
This
Okay,
Vivek
Mr. Tushar Gupta, go ahead.
No, I need to... I have an urgent point to make. I'm sorry, Miss Verma. I'm sorry I'm interrupting you. But Meghna, this Mr. Vivek Srivastav a few days ago was saying that the revival of minority sentiment or the Hindu nationalism since 2014 is the reason for the attacks against Hindus in Leicester. So this person shouldn't be taken on face value at all. That's the limited point I wanted to make. The man who was blaming the attacks on Hindus in Leicester in a foreign land on Modi's policy since 2014 will today lecture us on Hinduism, on how it should be celebrated and call it event management. I'm sorry, but I will not take it. I will not take it.
Only one particular religion. You are moving towards fascism.
A quick word from Sanju Verma, because I want to speak to Anirban Banerjee. He's looking very smug there. I'd like to pick his brains on that, but before that, a quick word from Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, go ahead.
Okay. I think Tushar Gupta made a very pertinent point. Just to take off from what he said. Vivek Srivastav, I'm happy that he spoke about dams, schools, colleges, etc. Meghna, how ironical that the people today who are sitting giving a bhashan on dams to be built, these are the same people who actually protested against the Sardar Sarovar Dam for decades later. Thanks to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on September 15, 2017. The Sardar Sarovar Dam was launched, and today, every year, it irrigates more than 35,000 hectares,
government interference in temples or not?
Villages,
Do you support the government control of temples?
Towns, more than 392
Do you support the government control of temples and Hindu religious institutions?
Vivek Srivastav was bringing in an important point as well. We'll just come back to that. But Anirban Chaudhary, Anirban Banerjee, I want to speak to Anirban Banerjee now. Would you agree and can you possibly deny that there is a need for Hindu revivalism? India had all but forgotten about yoga. It took the world to appreciate it for us to revive it. Today, we can sit here and say it was never really required. But can we deny that yes, Indians had forgotten about where they came from, their history, their legacy? Anirban Banerjee?
The legacy of India, irrespective of religion, belongs to people like Otis Dipankar. It belongs to people like Sri Chaitanya Dev. It belongs to people like political personas like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Mahatma Gandhi. Therefore, if you want me to believe that Indians had actually forgotten these names, I don't really know whether I should be amused or should I be sad. And regarding the revival of Hindu religion or Hinduism, I had heard in my childhood days the names of Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramahansa Dev and Sister Nivedita. Like these were the people I heard the names of. And you want me to believe that Mr. Modi has actually surpassed Ramakrishna Paramahansa.
So Hinduism should be what Anirban Banerjee, you say it should be. It should not be what others think it may be. It should be, are you defining what Hinduism should mean? Because as we are discussing, it's not a religion. It's a way of life, Anirban Banerjee.
Should be or would be. What I want to know is Mr. Modi bigger than Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramahansa. That is my simple question. Is he bigger than that?
Even he himself will come out and talk about how they have contributed. But you've not answered my question. You've not answered my question.
What the BJP wants us to believe is that Ramakrishna Paramahansa they stood for nothing.
Banerjee, why are you digressing? I had asked you a simple question.
I'm not digressing.
Let's stick to specifics. Let's not be rhetorical. Let's stick to specific. Do you think yoga needed and had to be revived? How popular was yoga?
Absolutely not.
Let's say 20 years back.
Absolutely not. There is a book by Swami Vivekananda on Raj Yog, which is read around universities in the world. No, there is a book called Raj Yog by Swami Vivekananda. Do you think we have forgotten that book? It is studied all over the world. Any interested student in Yogason will study that book. There are many books written by real scholars
I'd like to
from
thank
the
you. I'd like to thank you because you have just proved my point. It is people like Swami Vivekananda. It is people like Mahatma Gandhi who had told Indians how to take pride in our history, in our heritage. You've given the perfect example. These are the people who revived Hinduism, who talked about what Hinduism is. In fact, let's bring in the scholar here. Bring in the scholar here. And I think you made a very relevant point there. Thank you so much for bringing that to life. Dushyant Sridhar, we must get your voice. Now let's cut aside all the politics. Let's cut aside all the politics. Dushyant Sridhar, you must tell us, because you are someone who's devoted his life to what Hinduism is, to what Vedic sciences are all about. Have we forgotten it? Have we deviated? Have we done enough to remember our past?
Namaskaram Meghna, namaskaram to my fellow panelists, wishing you all in advance happy Deepawali. Now with respect to the revival, the word revival, Sanatana Dharma is an eternal religion, a timeless religion which is called Hinduism today. But I think after 2014, I honestly feel the efforts taken by the Honorable Prime Minister, the government, towards the revival of various temple corridors is something applauded across party lines, because this concept that the person who administers the country, or in the past the person who ruled the country, should be away from the civilizational ethos is absolutely wrong, and people who talk that are actually talking gibberish, because we have had kings like the Pallava kings of the 7th and the 8th century who constructed the Kailashanatha temple and the Vaikuntha Perumal temple in Kanchipuram, who besides being administrators also said that they stand by the civilization. We had the king Prataparudra of the Kakatiya dynasty, who was a great administrator, but people did say that he was the one who revived the civilization. So time and again, when I'm talking, I would request people to show the decency.
Mr. Sridhar. He's coming from a place of knowledge. He's coming from years of research.
Okay, and
we must listen to what he has today. Please be a bit patient. Go ahead, Mr. Sridhar.
There is a verse, Meghna, of the 13th century. Kausalyayai prathama janani devaki cha dvitiya vishnor mata tadanu vasata mummadamba tritiya. This is from a work called Prataparudriyam, where with the way the kings used to administer and used to connect to the civilization, to the temple, to the roots, to the culture, there was a feeling that, you know, God has descended. So I don't want to give such hyperboles here, but I feel even religions and even civilizations have their own ups and downs. I feel there was a period where there was a lull, where there wasn't much support, there wasn't much of a pride taken about the civilization. I feel the steps taken currently do speak about the pride that is associated with the land, and that is completely laudable. And from the days of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who went to Tulsa Bhavani and got her blessings, to Krishna Devaraya, who got the blessings in Kakulandra Vishnu, which is mentioned in his work called Amukta Malyada, till today, the Prime Minister does a lot of meetings for all sections of the society. At the same time visits a Ujjain Mahakaleshwar temple or a Kedarnath temple, absolutely sticks to the civilizational ethos. And I absolutely would like to congratulate the Prime Minister and the government as a primitive mortal, as an ordinary citizen. There is absolutely no second talk about it.
It's not about the politics, it's not about the rhetoric, it's not the hyperbole.
So how can we...
It is about spirituality. Mr. Chaudhary, do you think there is perhaps a mindset which is there in India that to neglect spirituality is going to be true secularism, Mr. Chaudhary? And I ask you this as a Congress leader.
No, this is not a question about the secularism or what you call this, monotheist religious values that we are talking of in India.
Okay.
When 100 crore people in India believe in a particular religion, that is the Hinduism. So there is value to Hinduism. But then these people whom I called Nafrati Chintus, after 2014, they have reduced Hinduism to such a level that is only about hating a particular section of the society, to
what are you talking about, Mr. Chaudhary? Sorry to interrupt you. I don't like interrupting. Are you confusing Hinduism with Hindutva? Even from your own party, you've never taken a stand against Hinduism. Hinduism is a way of life. How are you talking about any religion?
I
it's
told
not
you
about
after
religion,
2014, these people have reduced. These people, no, Meghna, you know I am on remote, so please give me the benefit of speaking. The point is that these people after 2014, they have mixed Hindutva with ultra-national, or I call it a better pseudo-nationalism, and bringing out a new version of Hinduism in India. You may make strong objections, but that is not the Hinduism that Indians follow. For Indians, Hinduism is all about inclusiveness.
How are you changing the entire form of Hinduism? Are we going completely off track? Let me, Tushar Gupta.
Transform that into Hinduism.
I'll just come to you, Sanju Verma. Tushar Gupta.
And hatred of
today,
a particular section
we
of
have
the
someone on the show who is saying that you are redefining Hinduism and mixing it with Hindutva. What are we even talking about? Perhaps that is the extent of why Hinduism perhaps needs to be revived, because we're not even sure what Hinduism is anymore.
But Meghna, isn't he right? We are redefining Hinduism, because before 2014, Hinduism was about saffron terror. Hinduism was about RSS ki sajish being 2611. Hinduism was about the minorities having the first claim on every resources in India. Hinduism was all about being apologetic and having hospitals and schools where the Ram Mandir should have ideally been built years ago. That was Hinduism. We are indeed redefining Hinduism, because the and many regimes of the past have abused Hinduism. They did not care for Hindu votes. They did not care for temples. Before 2014, tell me how many temples did Rahul Gandhi visit? Today also he visits them not for his devotion but for his convenience. There is a difference. That is the Congress definition of Hinduism. But when Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits these places, it's not for his political calculations but for his devotion. So yes, I agree with Mr. Chaudhary here. We've redefined Hinduism after 2014 because the Congress definition of Hinduism before 2014 is one that the country has discarded, dismissed and today forgotten.
Vivek Srivastav, you wanted to come in?
May I come in, Meghna?
I wanted to first say I do not agree with Dushyant Sridhar ji, number one.
Mr. Chaudhary, we'll come back to you. Let's listen in to Vivek Srivastav.
Chaudhary Sahab, 1 minute. Dushyant Sridhar ji, whatever you have talked, do not agree, is talking of primitive aristocracies. We are a democracy today and we are a very composite culture. So many castes, religions, communities live together and the state has no business to be promoting one particular religion, one particular culture. Our secular ethos of the constitution are being violated. When the Prime Minister stands and talks of one particular religion, it is not done. Number two, the government is confused. Two bills have been, sir, listen to me now. Two bills have been passed. Bills are being passed. Listen, sir, please let me complete.
Let us just finish because Sanju Verma needs to answer to what Vivek Srivastav is saying. Direct attacks coming in. Go ahead, Vivek Srivastav, can you make your point?
Meghna, he has taken my name, so I think it is high time that I reply.
10 seconds more. 10 seconds more. The government is confused. The government is confused. The government is confused. In Karnataka and Uttarakhand, the BJP is passing bills where it is saying that the government should not control religious
Sanju Verma, direct attack on your party that it is good to revive religion, but it should be one religion. Has that happened? Sanju Verma. Let's get Sanju Verma. Yes, Sanju Verma. Vivek Srivastava, we've heard you. Let's listen in to Sanju Verma. Go ahead, Sanju Verma.
You know, Meghna, this is not fair. I have waited for my turn. Vivek Srivastav is speaking non-stop. Can you please keep quiet, Mr. Srivastav? I did not heckle you.
Go ahead, Sanju Verma.
Thank you. You know, this entire attack on Prime Minister Modi and on the BJP, I think that is based on a very poor wicket and is on thin ice. And I will tell you why. First and foremost, the Congress sitting here and giving a bhashan on secularism is a whole lot of hogwash, is a whole lot of gibberish. Today, a congressman, a senior leader like Shivraj Patil, who was once the Home Minister of India, actually when 26/11 happened, had the audacity to compare Gita with jihad. Tomorrow, these people will say Hafiz Saeed is equal to Lord Krishna. Day after tomorrow, they will say Ajmal Prasad is equal to Arjun. So, inka jo hai, they have been electorally vanquished. They are trying to reclaim their political capital by engaging in ad hominem attacks against the BJP and Prime Minister Modi. Please keep quiet. I did not heckle you.
Okay, one by one.
Meghna, can you ask this man to shut up?
Yes, let's listen in to Sanju Verma. Let her finish making her point. Go ahead, Sanju Verma, finish your point quickly.
Let me finish.
But we don't sell Hinduism to get votes and make governments.
Let me finish.
We don't promote riots between Hindus and Muslims to get votes and to create governments.
Can you please lower
we don't instill the fear in the
We want to talk about communal riots, Vivek Srivastava. For the sake of the party that you are trying to defend, I would request you not to go there. I request you not to go there for the sake of the very party that you are representing. Finish your point, Sanju Verma.
May I please finish? And Vivek Srivastav sitting here and giving a bhashan on riots. These are the same people. Be it the great leap of faith under Mao Zedong, be it the Bolshevik revolution, be it the Gulag terror camps. More than 100 million people died thanks to your bloodthirsty communist ideology. So you have
before we plunge into personal attacks and politics, Mr. Sridhar, I want to bring you back in. And it's important for us to have our facts here. And instead of descending into politics, we are here to discuss Hinduism if it needs to be revived. So, Mr. Sridhar, go ahead.
Meghna, two quick points as an answer to one of my panelists, of course answering your question as well, because one, he did state that the government should not have any business to do with the religion. In that case, when the same Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated in Kartarpur Sahib, when he inaugurated Buddhist festivals, when he did meet the Pope at the Vatican, where were these questions asked? Because you don't have to hate one person to love the other, because you don't have to hate other religions. We love to revive the Hinduism. Another quick question that I would like to ask. In the south of India, there are chief ministers who wish their citizens on Christmas, on the day of Muharram, on the day of Bakrid, but they never extend their greetings on Vinayaka Chaturthi, on Ramanavami, on Gokulashtami, on Deepawali. So if a government has to be away from religion, it has to be away from all religions. So in my humble opinion, I have nothing against this point where the Prime Minister and the government is trying to revive and trying to bring back the glory of the Indic civilization, which is the civilization of the land. There's absolutely nothing contradicting.
Absolutely, that's a very relevant point. Reviving Hinduism does not mean the neglect of other religions. Anirban Banerjee, one quick point. When was the last time any Prime Minister before Narendra Modi went to Ayodhya? Which is of course the nerve center of Indian spirituality and many would say of even Hinduism. Anirban.
I might believe that Kalighat temple is the nerve center of Indian spirituality, right? So please don't impose your beliefs
I asked you a
on
straight
anybody
question.
else.
Even if we move that out, the significance of Ayodhya. When was the last time a Prime Minister before Narendra Modi went there?
When was the last time?
Direct question, Anirban Chaudhary. Anirban Chaudhary, a direct question. Can I have a direct answer? We're running out of time here.
No. When was the last time Mr. Modi visited Kalighat temple and had Mahaprasad of Kalima?
Anirban
He never
Banerjee.
did so.
Anirban Banerjee, direct question. I wanted an answer.
That is the direct answer. You want to believe that Ayodhya is the North Center? Fine.
Perhaps your silence in that question itself is the answer. Unfortunately, we are completely out of time. Unfortunately, we are completely running out of time. Thank you so much. Request you all our viewers.